Good morning. Welcome, my lovelies, to the Soulful Illumination Show. I am your enlightened enchantress, Nicole Borghi, and I want to welcome everybody listening from around the world, the known universe, those traveling across space time through the dimensional portals and other realms to the Soulful Illumination Show, the show about spiritual ascension through energetic frequencies, a show connecting you to the conscious collective. Yes, let's all wake our hearts together. Now is the time, right? Let's allow those vibrational frequencies to send us into spiritual ascension. We need all the help we can get. We need to quantumize those frequencies and just accelerate you. We are coming to you from an unknown bunker near Area 51 in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. And who am I? I'm Nicole Borghi. I'm your podcast host for this voyage. I am the summit, the sabotage smasher, and the soulful coach, connecting the mind, the body, and the soul. And we're going to do that here. So, welcome to the hour of true empowerment, right? We are on a wonderful ride this morning, and I've got a great guest coming at it with us today, and she will be here just shortly. So, we're going to do our little energy forecast and get our little business stuff out of the way, get our housekeeping out of the way, and let's look at our sponsors today. Today, we are looking at lemon. That is from doTERRA. It is an essential oil, people. Lemon gets us happy. Lemon is our joy. Lemon helps our sacral, our sacral area, the creation, move us forward into the joy, into creation, and it balances our alkaline level. Yes, it does. Though it is acidic, it goes into our body and balances our alkaline level. It is great to put in your glass of water to keep that hydration and that balance. Also, today we're looking at cell core biosciences. This is oxygen. Who doesn't need an oxygen boost right now? We all do. We all need to put our hands to the heart and take a breath. I am glad you're on for the ride because we all need to just breathe. Just take a moment and breathe. And my sage is kind of going crazy. So if you see smoke, the house isn't on fire. It's just my sage. Right now, my energy is crazy. My hair is static. You should have seen me before the show. It was all over the place. I couldn't tame it down. It was just so funny. That means my energy is just crazy. I grounded earlier today. I did a little bit of a traveling on the astral plane and some yoga, and I am here for you. But that's just the energy right now. It is just smashing through us. It is great. You want to harness the energy, contact me. Go to my website, illuminatevegas.com. That is illuminatevegas.com. And you will get some information on how to smash that sabotage and how to create a better life. If you've heard about imposter syndrome, feeling like a fraud, your emotions are in an entanglement. They are doing the little quantum entanglement dance. They are mixed emotions, maybe a little bit of a depression or sadness or the inability to prosper. That is what you need to do is go to my website and check out illuminatevegas.com. I encourage you to book a discovery call because right now the energy, uh, the emotional energy is kind of like a cauldron right now, and it's a bit mixed up. And we need to refocus and we need to reprogram and find out what's going on in our monkey minds and our mental state. And that's part of sabotaging, whether it's relationships, work, or just moving forward into the prosperity that is us. I encourage you to book a discovery call. They are free, and I take time to craft a plan for you, a personal plan, and help you get into that ascension and that prosperity of what is you so you can manifest that great life that you deserve. Let's move forward into the energy forecast of today. You know what? It is quite simple, you guys. Um, you want to look into today's energy and what we're looking at. I'm going to look down just for a moment because we are looking at the energy of protection. And protection comes from our higher counsel today. And that protection is always there for the asking. We just have to ask for that protection. And our higher counsel will give us not only the protection, but they will give us an incredible amount of guidance and love. But caution, if you're stubborn and you're not listening to the wisdom of the ancients, the ancient wisdom, yes, those elders that we sometimes want to distance ourselves from, it's very important, even on this planet, those that are older and that wiser. Why do we hold them sacred? The wise teachers, because they've been on this planet longer and they've gone through those lessons, those life lessons. It's very important to listen. So don't be stubborn to their advice. At least listen, take heed, and utilize it in your path moving forward. The second thing to look at is breakthrough to the conscious collective. We are here to help you ascend and break through to that lovely being that you are, that you deserve to be. However, the caution on that is radical change. When we ask for things, let's just say, be careful what you ask for. Because when we are open to change and we propel to change, if we don't write out our goals, if we don't understand our why, our purpose, our destination, if we don't understand some of that going forward, we will have a radical, weird, kind of crazy change and just get not what we were meant to get or what we thought we wanted. But we will get something. You will manifest it. Whatever your mind thinks and feels is what your mind creates. So be very careful what mindset you're in. That's another form of sabotage. Sometimes it can be procrastination, stubbornness, and roadblocks. So, just in order to get into the cosmic conscious and the cosmic connection, and you want that breakthrough, be in that positive, balanced male female heart space. That's as above, so below. We need the connection, right? Look at your source, God's source or your creator. Who are you looking at? Listen to your higher counsel. The third thing we need to look at today is our harvest. It is the end of the year where we collect our harvest, the seeds we sowed. And many of us need to be in presence. That's what Christmas is about. It's about the presence now, not the present tense, not the future, but the presence of now. Can you be in your heart space now? Can you be in the right now and understand where you're at? Maybe you need to detach and reflect into who you are and find that heart space and be in that reflection of understanding where you are now. Let's not live in the past. Let's clear that and move forward, because we want to be able to harvest and have wonderful connection and have wonderful bounty and to give to others, to share. And you can't share and give charity or help other people if you do not harvest properly and you do not have a good bounty to share with others. Make sure you share with yourself. Self love is very important. So, in order to care, you must eat the meals first. Understand that you are healthy to share that bounty, to prep the meal, right? You want to be in that proper heart space. And you can do that by taking care of yourself. And those are the three things that we need to look at. And one last thing I want to check out, and maybe I can get this working just right. I'm going to go ahead and try and share my screen today. I want to let you know about this great thing that I have been gifted by Oneness to join. It's called Wizio. And here's a little bit of an introductory video, if I can get this in here correctly, just for you guys. It's an introductory video on Wizio. It's a great platform if you have one question to ask Nicole. What do you want to ask Nicole? If there's some guidance, some intuition, maybe a little mini coaching session. You get about a 3 to 5 minute video. Sometimes you just need that breakthrough. Sometimes you're going and you're doing and you're in that creation and you kind of plateau and you're just like, I can't move forward. Maybe you just need a little push and a little coaching session, right? You need the fixer to come in, and that's me. I'm going to help you smash that sabotage. What is it? Or do you need a little relaxing, clearing, cutting of the cords, some clearing of the energy to help you kind of get back into that heart space? Because when we work on our business or we work on ourselves, especially this time of year, we're working with our families, everything's right in our lap. And we just need to kind of have that ability to just get that big heavy rock off our chest and get an energetic release. So you're going to go to Wizio. Let me see if I can share this with you, wonderful people, today. I am so honored to be able to do this. Let's get this correct here and let's see if it wants to play. No, it doesn't. So, oops. Okay. Looks like I'm not going to be able to share that today for you guys. Let's try one last time. Nope, can't play it. I apologize, guys. Well, check it out. It's wizio.com. I'll have some more information below. I'm going to stop sharing my crazy screen going all over the place today. What it is it's a great platform that Shri and Kira have gifted oneness, and Wizio has been wonderful with sharing it with us. It's a platform where you can just connect to that. It's Wizio, WISIO.com. And it's a great platform if you just want video, if you want audio, audible connection back and forth with us. And it's just a great, quick service. There's also go to Illuminate Vegas and you can book a discovery call for the programs that those are 4 to 6 week programs that I work one-on-one with you. Let's bring in our guest now, LaChelle Adkins. LaChelle, can you unmute yourself and I'll bring you back in here. We'll get a great view in here so we can get you in there.
Awesome.
Good morning, beautiful. Welcome to the
Hey.
show. So glad to
Thank you
have
so
you
much for
here.
having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
over here taking notes, okay, about the lemon and, not procrastinating. So I love it, okay?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So glad you're here. Hey, you are America's supermom.
Oh,
You are such a blessing, such a blessing. And I love your hat too. I just love the
thank
glitter.
you.
Your
Thank
person,
you.
it just resembles your personality.
Oh,
It
you're
is
so
so, you are so bright and bubbly and so giving to people and now to yourself, right?
mm,
It took a minute to get there, but
amen.
you are the person uh, to kind of take after, right? The person
Mm,
that somebody needs to kind of mentor with, or in a little bit of sense, sometimes we idolize people we want to be, not in an
mm-hmm,
unhealthy way, but kind of
mm-hmm.
look at our life and take after that person because you're so connected. You have
Oh,
such a high gracious energy. You're so very giving. And
mm-hmm.
just let me have you introduce yourself more to people. But thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. And yes, you mentioned I'm America's Supermom. I got that name because my husband and I have 15 children. So things are nonstop entertainment over here with us. We have 8 of them that are now currently doing e-learning. And I love the way you talked about, where I am now because, I didn't always have the life that I have now. I struggled with depression for 13 years. I was hospitalized 3 times and I was an only child. So the struggle was, how do you make sense of all these people underneath one roof and all the responsibilities that go into not just having a family, but I wanted it to be a successful family, doing everything quote unquote perfect, which is an illusion. So, needless to say, I had my own journey of trying to, navigate through life and figure out what is it like to be a stay-home mom because I didn't have that example. My husband and I, okay, got kicked right off the thing. Okay. Actually I didn't. All right. So you never know with this internet. That's one of the things that I love about me. I am always open to learning new things. But anyway, I thought I got kicked off the internet. That's been something that I've been challenged with lately. But I think it was just the whole thing of my husband and I meeting in college. And I just had this mindset that growing up that I was going to do everything I can to be successful. I was a high achiever, got the honor roll, was in the gifted classes, was always getting that validation from outside sources. And so, what I longed for was that same validation in my own life. Every day I'm thinking about how I can do this thing of life and do it great, do it with success. And so I struggled with that. And that's really what my journey through depression really went through, was 13 years of that. And so I'm happy to be on the other side, having to come to grips with my own issues, so to speak, my own past, and finding a way to cultivate it in a manner that now I'm able to empower other women and help them overcome their limiting beliefs or challenges that they may have in life.
Thank
That's all about
you.
me.
Yes. So amazing that you share that off. But what you were saying was still showing right now. That is the power of the spoken word that you were gifted with right now.
Mhm,
Because you were able to, without me being on and the source going through Zoom, you were
mhm.
still connected. You were still up on Facebook. I was gone. I did get lost. We did shut down for a minute. Like, and I could still hear you. I was checking everything else and you're still on there while I'm trying to reconnect. But it's so powerful what you had to say. And
Mhm,
it's just
mhm.
amazing how that, yes, this needed to be said, that you had such a blessing of a connection with your husband, and how wonderful of a connection you must have, and some
Mhm.
great communication. It takes to have that many children,
Yeah, it is
right?
definitely. It is a challenge because I'm the only child. So, the bickering that they do with she's copying me, the little things that happens. I think it's so funny because we may have one box of cereal, okay? And if somebody else gets a bowl and somebody else got it first, they're copying them. I'm like, how are you copying somebody when there's only one box of cereal? What other time are they going to get? But, so that's the dynamic. Some of that little chatter and things with sibling rivalry, it has taken me some time to adjust to that. But, communication is so key. And to be honest, that's one of the things that we're still kind of struggling with because, for 13 years, I was seen as this mom who was doing all these different things, cooking. Yeah, I had chores and things for my kids, but it was like, yeah, we're going to do chores. But if they had homework or something else that I valued more, which was education, then
Mhm.
okay, it's all right if the dishes don't get done. Do your homework. I'll do the dishes. And, I'm doing that for everything. And so now it is a transition after really empowering myself and forgiving myself with my journey and saying, you know what? I can only do what I can do, but I have created some of this complacency from some of my children because I was doing stuff that they weren't doing. And so
Ah,
now it's a transition where it's like, okay, yeah, we have some dishes in the sink. You need to get up here and wash them. You know what I mean? But in terms of everything being all in place and things like that, it's a transition because I am now just refusing to
mm,
do everything when everyone else can contribute. So it's
right.
it's a work in progress.
It is hard because we kinda do that. We do that to ourselves thinking that we're helping,
Right. Mhm. We
but we're,
enable them.
yeah, we do.
Mhm.
We enable, and it's just like, it's touchy. How much do
Mhm.
you do? Because I didn't have anybody that did anything for me. I learned to wash my
Mhm.
clothes. I learned to cook my own food. I
Mhm.
had older siblings. I had 2 older siblings, 6 and 4 years older than me, but they weren't
Mhm.
home. When I
Right.
started to become the tween and the teenager,
Mhm.
there was nobody at home, no
Mhm.
parental even unit in my home.
Mhm.
Luckily, I
Mhm.
had a next door neighbor that her mother loved to cook. Thank you so
Mm.
much for that,
Mhm.
because I
Mhm.
was alone. And I
Mhm.
wasn't used to building relationships. I
Yeah.
had nobody to fend for. I was in my own home, which was fine because, I come from a home with a lot of mental disability, a lot of
Mhm.
craziness. And I can say it, I lived through it. We
Right.
So their brains were scattered. So that was a quiet time for me. It was a, it was a blessing to
Yeah.
not have that, or even a lot of domestic violence in the history
Mm,
too. And
mhm.
so it was a nice, calm place. However, on the other end, I didn't learn to develop relationships or
Right.
do other things. And then there was nobody there to teach me, but there was nobody there to help me. So I always
Mhm.
fell on my own feet. Uh,
Mhm.
when I had my child, I only had one, uh, but it was hard.
Yeah.
Where do you do, and where do you not do? And
Right.
it's got to be a learning curve, but you've got enough to get it right, right?
And you know what? I think I coaching really helps me be a lot more hands off with my kids. It
Wow.
really
Okay.
reminds me that, they are individuals. I was doing an interview about a month ago and someone said, I'm raising adults. I'm not raising children. I don't want
Wow.
my children to grow up and be a child. I want
Wow.
them to grow up to be an adult. And I thought, now how profound is that? And that is
That's
true.
huge.
And it really opened my eyes that even whatever level they're on, I had one of my fifth graders who was struggling in math. And it was like, look, I've been in fifth grade. What are you going to do to move forward with your work in math? What are some things you could be doing? Because if I'm continuing to let them do their same routine, play video games, or use their free time certain ways, well, you have a warning sign here. It's showing that you're not doing good in this subject, which
Mm,
means the routine you have, you might want to modify, you know.
okay.
And it would have been a time that I would have been like, oh, honey, we've got to get a tutor. I would be dedicating my evening to going over math facts, not to say that's not important,
Right.
but I think we do so much for our kids that they don't know how to do anything for themselves. And this really is important with them having the confidence to be able to use their voice, which is something that I lost for a period of 13 years. And I'm not
Wow.
willing to go back, and I don't want to have my kids experience that if they don't have to.
Right. And that's wonderful that you can now share that with them. And you can
Mm-hmm.
share that journey into that change, and that
Mm-hmm.
ability to see that,
Mm-hmm.
where you're able to affect that. I am
Mm-hmm.
working on my lessons of trying to bring the relationship with my daughter back, and being able
Mm.
to learn and get rid of the guilt from that, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know. I was told
Mhm.
it was, okay. And that's another story for another day, being the teen mom, and it
Right.
being okay to be a single parent and not having a support system. So
Right.
it's detrimental, The village isn't there unless you find that village and that unity somewhere, which
Mhm.
I was clueless about that too. And so trying to mend that relationship now and have that
Mhm.
effect, the ill effect that it had. But that's what I can do now. And I can speak to people.
Mhm.
And I know you do that too, is where
Mhm.
you coach and you speak to people about, getting out of that mental mind state that it's all encompassing you.
Right.
It's
It's
all
so
your
true.
guilt, right?
Yeah.
It's all your guilt. It's all your tragedy. It's
Mhm.
all your drama. There's no
Mhm.
forgiveness anywhere.
Mhm.
And you just live in that depression.
So true. And just that victim mindset really doesn't serve you. And I think sometimes it just is like a broken record that keeps playing. And one of the things, I have my oldest daughter who is she's a single parent, and I
Mm,
just talked to her about that before. I said, we have this term, even sometimes the terms we use, like a single mom. And I said, you
mhm.
know, what is are you going to be a double mom? Is there a triple mom? Some of these words, we just adapt
Right,
them as if it's just the thing to say,
right.
and that can be a limiting belief. A mother has a role regardless if the father's in the picture or not. I mean, I've experienced this in my own life, and
Mm,
I'm married. I
mhm.
felt like, my husband was not around because he worked all the time. He was in retail, he was an officer in the military,
Wow.
and a pastor. So there were times that when he went to bed, I mean, when the kids went to bed, he still wasn't home. When
Wow.
they woke up, he was already at work. So I felt like all the responsibility was on me. So, motherhood is the thing that you can begin to empower yourself and say, okay, what is it that I want to teach my children? How am I going to impact their lives? And what am I missing? Right. So if it's my kids were in sports, they had soccer, basketball, volleyball, you name it. Because if they needed that role model in a masculine form, then I
Mm,
was finding different ways to provide that, even though their dad lived at home with them.
wow. And that's amazing, but you also looked for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's great sometimes, even if we don't know, at least that we try to make that attempt so that they
Right.
had a role model. And
Mm-hmm.
it's hard, you've got nobody there. Who do you look at? Where's the
Mm-hmm.
masculinity? I didn't have it in my
Mm-hmm.
house. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have it for my daughter's house. And but now I am very lucky now. Well, luck, however you want to put it. Very
Mhm,
grateful for the relationship that I have now with
mhm,
my partner, because we have him and I have a great balance and a great unity and great
mhm,
respect,
mhm,
and
mhm.
we're able to share that and
Yeah,
model with each other, and it's very important to find it at some point.
so true. And I love how you bring up, learning, relationships. And, to be honest, I feel like I'm at ground zero with that myself, even though I've had a history of relationships. But what I'm finding just in my journey now with being so obsessed with learning, evolving, and being a better version of myself that there are things that I attribute to relationships in the past that I have found that just don't serve me. It doesn't serve me to be a people pleaser
Right.
or to seek validation from other people or, some of these other things where, you can't say no, there's no time for self care,
Hmm.
all these things I'm learning that, that was a relationship that I had bridged with people that wasn't healthy, for my benefit. So now I
Right.
have to go and unlearn that. So it's like starting all over again, but I think it's the whole thing of having the clarity of knowing why am I in this relationship? What am I bringing to this relationship? What am I needing from this relationship? And seeing if those markers are meeting my needs or serving me or things like that.
Right. It's very important,
Mhm.
because you build the relationship with yourself and you build the relationship with
Mhm.
other people, and you're such an energetic kind of mirror with other
Mhm.
people on where your
Mhm.
life is at, and it
Mhm.
really is so detrimental to your personal success,
Mhm.
your family success, and the success of your business,
Mhm.
where
Mhm.
if you're not if you're spinning crazy like a top, and your energy's just like all over the place, and you're just throwing and zapping it wherever, or letting whoever suck up all your energy, just kind of
Mhm.
put a straw in the back of your neck and just take all the energy or all the goodness that you have, and then you're
Mhm.
left with nothing. You're really depleted. and
Yeah.
and, and it's just learning to have that balance, but being able to look back and say, okay, you didn't do that today. Let's do this tomorrow. Let's give you this time. I
Mhm.
really started to schedule it in my planner,
Amen. Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
that's really, what? I'm not taking a business call first thing in the morning. I'm
Mhm.
going to go walk in the park. I'm not taking that call.
Mhm.
I'm going to do some yoga, because I'm
Mhm.
no good to you. And then I miss calls.
Right.
There's nothing like missing a whoops. That was a very important call, right? And you miss it and you're like,
So true.
it's just you then you wonder why your business isn't a success, because you're doing that, and you have to refocus. Okay, am I spending
Mhm.
I'm spending all this time, but when does it end? If there's no end in
So
sight,
true.
like, hey, these next 30 days,
Yeah.
I've got all this going on, but then I'm going to give myself some grace to say, hey, you know what, on the 31st day, this is how I'm going to reward and celebrate myself for
Amen.
that work, right?
Yeah.
Having that insight. Do you? are there things now in your toolbox that you share with your children to give them that sense of being able to have that self-love and self-care, and not bringing it back on them and kind of emulating that point in your life?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing really is I'm working just on being an example because, I recognize that each of them has been affected with my depression and my hospitalizations that, I feel like there's a lot of repair that needs to be made with our relationships. And so I'm really working on giving them the space to come to me with things as they feel comfortable. You know,
Mm.
I don't feel like, okay, yeah, I'm your mom. You better listen. I mean, that's something that I would have done in the past. It's like I brought you in this world, I take you out, all these different sayings that people say in the past. But, that just doesn't resonate with me anymore because, it's really working against what you're trying to build. When you really give your kids the space to be who they are, you can work so much easier because really they're doing the work. It's just like a coach. You're guiding them, but they are using their own energy. It's like riding a bicycle. They can ride that bike on their own. Why am I sitting on here trying to ride and then dragging behind or carrying them on my shoulders? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You're carrying that weight on yourself, but what you got a team, you're the coach, you've got
Right.
a team, you've got your own team. And that's that. It's amazing that you give them the ability to, hey, you're going to take this on, or you're
Mm-hmm.
not, and you're okay with that. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like force fed into that. And I know as an adult, if people were telling me things, I had no comprehension of certain things. Where's that joy
Mm-hmm.
factor? I didn't have it. I had depression. Where's that
Mm-hmm.
healthy eating? I didn't have that. I smoked a pack a day and drank a fifth of Jack Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
What did I know about nutrition?
Right.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
when people talk to me, I had no clue. And they were like, we don't get, it was a frustration on other people's behalf, because they were trying to help me. Like
Right.
we all do as healers and caregivers. We try to help people by throwing everything we have in our basket at them. But
Yes.
but they're ditching all the softballs there because they don't understand what it means to catch it. They
So
don't
true.
understand what it means to have that win,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
I didn't have it, so I didn't know to take that in. Try it, just
Yeah.
try one thing. What can you do today? Okay, I can take 30 minutes and just be
Mhm.
present, or even 30 seconds, and be
Mhm.
present with myself. Put my hand on my heart and feel my heart. Oh,
So
oh,
true.
okay. That's what love feels like,
So true. And
you
I
know?
think we just don't know what the definition of love is because love is unconditional.
Yeah.
So love is not me trying to conform all my kids to talk like me, be like me, dream like me. But we have been conditioned in society to think that the best way to be successful is to copy exactly somebody who is doing things a certain way. So
Mm,
it's like you have the wisdom later on in life and you feel like, man, okay, I'm going to pour this wisdom into my children, but
mm,
it's wisdom about things that were issues with you.
right,
No, your kids may not even have those issues. So you are really, handicapping them
right.
about some things that weren't even, usually they may not even be on your kids' radar. And you're like, oh, you know what? Save your money because, it's scarcity, because that might be how you grew up. But your kids are like, they never knew what it was like to go without anything. And then you're
Mm,
just like beating them over the head with stuff. And it's not making sense. And then, you're wondering why you're not connecting with them, why it's not resonating. It's like, you're talking to yourself as a child, but that person is already a part of you. That's why it's an inside job.
it's
So you're,
huge. It's
yeah,
huge
your
because you're
kids are
talking to
looking
your little inner child, right?
not the one in front of you. You see what I'm saying? Yes. So I think that's really the issue. And so we need to kind of deal with those issues in our own life and give our kids the space, to ask questions. And, even like I talk to my older kids, because there are times that my husband and I, we may not be on the same page about certain
Mhm.
things as a result
Mhm.
of me thinking differently. And I tell my kids, look, I appreciate your input, but the things that I have a problem with him on are about him being my husband, not your father.
Right,
You see what I'm
right.
saying? So we even sometimes when it comes to moms and dads, back and forth, the kids feel like they can pick and choose, but it's not about that. It's about recognizing he's supposed to be dealing with things as my husband. I'm dealing with things as his wife. You're not going to understand that dynamic. Okay, you're looking at him as your father, so you don't understand. So, some things we just give them the space to speak on or allow them to believe certain things when we just need to stop them and say, hey, this is an area that you really don't know anything about.
Right. And it's okay. You
Mm-hmm.
know what? That's okay. You don't need to know. We don't
Exactly.
need to give away the farm in a sense because they still need to kind of uh, you know, stumble on their own 2 feet in a sense
Right. Mm-hmm.
and be able to learn and see, oh, okay, I don't need to worry about that right now. But
Exactly.
but what you're saying is kind of talking to your little inner child. And
Mm-hmm.
that's huge. Those
Mm-hmm.
experiences that you had that you didn't
Mm-hmm.
clear
Mm-hmm.
but looking and honoring your children and saying this is where you'll learn, this is how they learn it. And
Right.
when we work with clients as coaches, it's very important to have that consultation and have
Mm-hmm.
that moment to talk to them and say, okay, where's your headspace at? It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter where you are, good, bad, or
Mm-hmm.
indifferent. We need to kind of find out how to reprogram that,
Right.
repattern your life,
Mm-hmm.
even repattern some of your thinking and
Mm-hmm.
kind of just go in there, defrag it, clean it out, get that
Right.
toxicity out and
Mm-hmm.
and honor the program that you had that you were running on.
Mm-hmm.
And a new program can go in there. But you still
Mm-hmm.
have all your files and your drives because you're using that. You're using
Mm-hmm.
what you knew. But
Mm-hmm.
it's very important to really it's so important to acknowledge that inner child, where you
Mm-hmm.
were, what you understood when you were little, those programs that you
Mm-hmm.
developed. Because I know I tell my clients all the time, if you're not allowed to have a heart to heart conversation with the little you, um, and say, hey, you know what, little Nicole, little LaChelle. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is where we're at now. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
grown. This is where you can come to a healthy, healing place, a wonderful place.
Mm-hmm.
We've grown up to be wonderful people,
Mm-hmm.
and here we are. Now we can
Mm-hmm.
move forward with that, and that's so
Mm-hmm.
amazing to address that and to understand. Sometimes that depression had come from something that we missed as a child or we didn't
Mm-hmm.
nourish as a child, and now we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to nourish as an adult, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but be the helicopter mom in between and save them on the same. We can't do everything, right?
Can't do it all. Yeah. And it's really profound because, even if you're thinking about certain traumas that you might have had as a child, you were also engaged many times with survival mode tactics, which allowed you to have tunnel vision for what it was you were trying to do.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you have someone who had, some kind of trauma and their way of escape was, I don't know, making up stories or something, that was something they focused on clearly daily in order to escape the pain that they were suffering. So
Mhm.
when you're in that mode of only focusing on one thing, so many things you miss. I mean, it was good to accomplish maybe the objective at the time, but how many things did you miss out and not see because you had that tunnel vision? So then going back later on, it's like, wow, like for me, I was so, you know, talking about my story, like I was just the biggest victim.
Mm.
Woe is me. I've been in the hospital and I this, I that. And then to realize that not only was I a victim, so were my kids and my husband,
Right.
but I didn't even see that because I was so engrossed in what I was talking about, how I was affected. but still there's other people a part of that story or that time or place that were victims also.
And that's huge when you can come to a moment and share that. Just take
Mhm.
you guys, I want you to know that we are live, so you can chat on the Oneness Talk Radio channel, and you can
Mhm.
go to the Facebook channels and chat with us. If you have anything you want to mention, say hello, please go to the
Mhm.
chat. And we absolutely honor that. And that chat stays there so you guys can see what's going on, and you can still chat after the show. We'll definitely
Mhm.
be reposting everything. And I want to thanks my guest today, LaChelle. Yeah, and it's important that you come from your heart space and be able to
Mhm.
share
Mhm. Mhm.
with your family and know that, wow, it takes all these factors to feel a victim. It takes all these factors
Mhm.
to feel like I survived. But who else along the way did that have effect on?
Mhm.
Right? You know, it's like an
Mhm.
8-car lane accident where the driver just jerks and flies over the freeway. How many people, not just the person in the car, but how many people did it have an effect on?
Mhm. So
Uh,
true.
right? And you see the mess at the end. And,
Mhm.
and that is sad, but that's right there. That's the one focus. And all the other people that had to swerve are the other accidents. When we're sad or depressed, other people may feel that as well. They may take that energy on because
Mhm.
we're energetic beings and because we're empathic and we feel other people's feelings.
Mhm.
And we don't always protect ourselves in that manner from those feelings. We take on their feelings and where they're at. So there may be a depression that's kind of sprinkled into other people around us because
Mhm.
they want us to be okay. But
Mhm.
feeling and understanding is one thing, but really submerging in that is, and
Mhm.
I know I really imprinted that on my daughter, and I didn't understand
Yeah.
how that worked, because
Mhm.
so many of us are told that it's a genetic thing,
Right.
and so we go with it. Is it really genetics, or is it sometimes what's shown to us,
So true.
what we learn on our journey? Some
Mhm.
of it's genetics, I get that, uh, but some of it's not. And
Right.
I'm the one that's been lucky to get away from that,
Mhm.
and I have grown from being avoided the medication,
Amen.
and
Me
so
too.
I'm the black sheep on the other end of the
Right.
family, where I have a good healthy life, and I have good,
Amen.
healthy daily habits that I do, but it took a lot to get out of that. And we have
So
to
true.
look at how that affected. But uh, um, also on the other realm, when we
Mhm.
heal the people around us,
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
have a different reactions to us,
Mhm.
right? Uh,
Mhm.
and do your family and your friends, did they have different reactions to you, and see you in a different light now?
Absolutely. And, I think they really are in awe. And just like you mentioned, it's a blessing to not be on any medication, because each of the times that I was hospitalized, I was on medication during the time I was in the facilities. And, that is something that I had to work hard with because I refused medication. I was not one really to just take medicine in general. We've had 13 kids together, my husband and I. 11 of those children were natural childbirth. Two of
Wow.
them were C-section because I was over 40. So I'm just very conscious of not, doing anything with medication, other chemicals. That's just me trying to be positive and do that only because I had children. I was breastfeeding and all these different things. I didn't want
Mm,
anything to go to the baby. So
yeah.
you can only imagine for that span. I mean, it was like, even if I had a headache, it would be like, let me drink some water, take a nap, and get back up and get myself back together. So that really is, I wouldn't say that it's a gift because, you really have to be conscious about that. It came with a lot of conflict, going to therapists and they're like, well, I think do you know how many kids you have? And you
Oh,
need to
wow.
have something to relax. I said, look, we're not doing it. Okay. So
Right.
you have to really be your own advocate because it is possible, right? But if you do it that way, it's still some modification. You have to get a good night's sleep. You have to
Oh
be
yeah.
stickler for some of your routines because they're non-negotiable if you want to be healthy, right?
And that's true because
Mhm.
you're putting chemicals in your body.
Mhm.
And especially like you said, you're breastfeeding that
Mhm.
to your children. So many people right now just want to tune out.
Right.
When I had my daughter and I was sick after I had my daughter, they were trying to give me a bunch of medication for other
Mhm.
physical ailments that I had
Mhm.
contracted during the pregnancy. And it was
Mhm.
like, no,
Mhm.
if I don't have to take it, I'd rather not.
Right.
Because it's so not just because I'm hugely stubborn. I gotta admit
Right.
that I'm like no no no, because having seen the addiction that ran in my family and and
Mhm.
and uh I was just like no, I don't want to
Mhm.
take it, and I'm so glad that I did,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
being able to heal on the spiritual level, being able to have meditation, being able to
Mhm.
rise to a higher ascension. Those are things
Mhm.
that kind of fog your mind.
Right.
And you can't, some people you see, they can't get up. If you need it, take it. I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to say either way, but for me and my personal journey, not being
Mhm.
on certain medications is a blessing. And
Mhm.
it's I don't have to clear it out of my body. I don't have to
Right.
detoxify that out of my body. There's enough negative thought that I had to detox, and I could only imagine
Amen.
having to get through that and having to
Yes.
clear that out, and the feeling I
Mhm.
would have after that.
Mhm.
That's just not one more thing, but it's hugely a focus on nutrition. It's hugely a
Yes.
focus on, am I getting water? It's hugely a focus on,
Yes.
do I rest?
Mhm.
If I got 4 hours to sleep and my 4 hours of quiet sleep, if I got 8
Mhm.
hours of sleep or 12 hours of sleep, is it rest?
Right.
Is my
Yeah.
mind not having the chatter in there?
Oh, so true. And
And
just being outside, getting some sunshine,
oh
you know?
my gosh. And that was another thing. Learning to
Mhm.
get out of the house, getting
Mhm.
off the TV,
Mhm.
raised in another metropolis city in San Jose, California. Where did
Mm.
I go to walk around?
Mhm.
Now that I'm here in Vegas, of all crazy places, I know where the mountain is. I know where Red Rock is and Mount Charleston is. There's a
Mhm.
beautiful park, a pond at Sunset
Mhm.
Park. Uh,
Mhm.
there's the ability to connect with the trees,
Mhm.
and it's huge,
Mhm.
especially right now, to see smiles on people's faces outside in the sunshine.
Yeah. So true. So true. Mhm.
Getting that good vitamin D source, and getting
Mhm.
away from the hustle and bustle.
Mhm.
It's like a
And
little oasis, yeah?
so true. And vitamin D, that's definitely when you're at a deficit for that, that is a sign, that depression can follow close behind that.
That and
So,
B vitamins.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So natural
Absolutely.
things you could do, you know, that can really begin to improve your mood and mindset just from
What
going
that
outside.
that that's true, and that was my journey into herbalism and aromatherapy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
learning that the hard way was,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, okay, you can cure yourself,
Right.
and there's healthy things you need to take for mindset," and it has changed. I mean, it's just quantumized the change in that, and the beautiful people
Mm-hmm.
that I meet like you. I wouldn't be able
Oh.
to be on live and have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's a win-win for me.
Amen. Amen.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
we have gone into we've got about 5 minutes.
We could talk all day, right?
Absolutely. You're so wonderful, that conscious connection.
Mm-hmm.
You have a book out.
Yes,
You have some
yes.
other
Right
things. How do
behind me.
people find you?
Yes. So this book is Inspirational Women of the World. It's a collaborative project. And the story is basically uplifting and motivating stories. This is a global project. I'm the only one from the United States. And we met in a Facebook group and we would have Zoom calls weekly. And I don't remember who said it first, but somebody said, we need to have a book because the stories were so inspiring. So we collaborated, got the book done. And I think it's just a great testament of one, being authentic, really feeling comfortable enough to share your story of what you overcame, and the whole concept of collaboration. Because, if I was so concerned about, oh, I want this to be my book with my name only, it would still be in this computer. Okay. But now I have a finished product, that I can give to women, help inspire them, and it's part of a bigger mission. So the money that we raise for this book is going to help entrepreneurship in Morocco with the women there that are wanting to start businesses. And the bigger goal is to reach and impact the lives of 1 million women by 2030.
Wow, that's
So this is
amazing.
our first book, and just so excited. So, I really encourage people, don't be concerned about getting credit for stuff. Get with the right kind of people that are speaking the language or have the vision that you have, and you can impact many people by coming together and collaborating on projects and creating things that could benefit the whole world.
That's awesome. You're such a
Mhm.
blessing to share that and be able to share it around the world, right? Our connection that
Mhm.
we have, especially in
Mhm.
our heart space. What is your website? How do people find you?
Yeah, my website is LaChelleAdkins.com. And you can find me on any social media platform. I have a YouTube channel. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can look up either America's Supermom or LaChelle Adkins, either one. I'm both places.
You are everywhere with your smiling face. Thank you so much, LaChelle. It's been an honor. And you guys, in the next 24 to 48 hours, you'll also find this show on Spotify and
Mhm.
iTunes. So you can download the podcast and listen to
Mm.
it again and listen to us all day and share with your friends. Don't
Love
forget to
it.
like, subscribe, and join the tribe. You got to hit that like and smash the subscribe. Thank you, LaChelle. It's been a
Oh, you're
blessing to
so
talk to
welcome.
you.
Thank you for having me.
Bye bye, guys.